Welcome, welcome.
Hey,
Happy
everybody.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's not our usual day, but it's okay. We did a Monday. Gregarious Joy could be changing to who knows what day. We're going to be changing around. Gregarious and Joy.
I'm Gregarious. She's Joy.
Hi, if you've never seen us before, this is a show about relationships, social issues, racial issues, Las Vegas life, cheap eats. What else?
We just talk about things that are happening in the here and now.
And spiritual uplifting talk
Yes.
to get you motivated for your day.
Yes, get you motivated for the week as well. I like to start off every week with a message of the day. And those of you who have followed me know that I would write a message for the day, an inspirational message for the day. And sometimes I read from maybe the Unity Daily Word or the Daily Bread also has very good inspirational messages. But sometimes I just write messages on my own, what comes to me, what comes to mind. And today, the thought that comes to mind for me is they can because they think they can. They can because they think they can. And it's really up to you.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like to throw statements out there without backing them up. When I graduated from undergrad, I wanted to be a politician. After spending some time in Washington,
That's
I realized...
a big deal. That's hard.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
I mean, to
It
take
really
that
was a
on?
big deal. Yeah, I went to Washington and stood outside the door of my senator. He was in a financial meeting. When he came out, I jumped right on him. I said, Senator Dole, I want to work for you. I want to work for the best. Slow down, son. What's your name? Blah, blah. And I ended up working in Washington. What a heck of an experience.
Only by soliciting yourself to
Yes.
him personally?
Yes, I did.
That's how you got in.
That's
you
how I got
to
in.
meet him.
That's how I got
on
to
your
meet
own.
him.
That is great.
Yes.
That's really amazing.
Yeah,
so your persistence then. The
Yeah, I took my spring break when others were on the beach
That's chutzpah.
with their favorite libation. I went to Washington and I started pursuing my dream. So after that didn't work, then I went to banking, which was my minor, finance in Chicago, and I realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do. So after spending about a year in banking, I had a customer. I was, going through his balance sheet, and it was American Hospital Supply, and they were asking for a line of credit. And I said, well, who makes this money? This is the sales department. I said, what does the average sales guy make? And he said 6 figures. So I said, you know what? Let me try this. So I asked for an interview, and I got an interview. And I was living in downtown Chicago. Didn't have a car at the time. So I was living at Lakeshore Drive in Addison. So in order for me to get to American Hospital Supply, which was in Waukegan, Illinois, I had to take the bus over to the elevated train, which they call the L. So I went straight down Addison to the platform, which is about a 30-minute ride. Then I got on the elevated train to the end of the line to Evanston. That's about another half hour. Then I transferred from the Evanston train to the Chicago Northwestern.
Wow.
Which was, about a 45-minute ride all the way up to Waukegan. And then after that, I had to jump in a cab, and then the cab all the way over to American Hospital Supply. So all in all, it took me over 2 hours to get there. 2 hours, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 15 minutes. So when I get there,
This is for the interview.
This is for the interview.
Yeah, right.
The receptionist says, oh, Greg, I'm terribly sorry. The guy that you were supposed to interview with,
Uh-oh.
he's not in today. He got called out last night on an emergency.
God, how annoying.
Now,
How annoying. All that time.
I shared all this with you about where I started, where I was going, how many trains I had to take for a reason. So I was really frustrated at that point.
Sure.
And in your mind, you have this two sides. One side saying, hey, I can because I think I can. I came here on a mission. I want this job.
Mm-hmm.
The other side saying, oh, man, you showed up. They didn't even respect you. They probably looked at you and said you were black. You're not going to get a job here, blah, blah, blah,
Your
blah,
little
blah.
voice in your head.
Yeah, so these little,
The negative talk.
quagmires, all that negative talk that
Right.
we have. So I said, you know what? I'm going to speak up. I said, ma'am, I did not take one train from Addison, Lakeshore Drive, all the way to the L, to the elevated platform to Evanston, to Chicago Northwestern, and then in a cab to come here for you to tell me that the guy that I'm supposed to interview with is not here today? Couldn't you have given me a courtesy call? She said, we're sorry, I'm really sorry. I said, well, you know what, ma'am, you see that couch over there? I'm going to go have a seat on the couch, and I'm going to wait for you to find somebody in here to talk to me. Because it took me 2.5 hours to get here.
And you're all dressed.
And I'm all dressed up. I'm in my suit.
You're all psyched up.
Right. I'm not taking no for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I can because I think I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting on the couch.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there for about 15 minutes, fumbling my thumbs, and I'm listening to her. There's some guy in the lobby that wants to be interviewed, blah, blah, blah.
Some crazy
dude. Some crazy guy. Some crazy guy.
Is out there pushing for an interview no matter what.
Yeah, so then I hear this booming voice come down the stairs, and he says, Greg Franklin. Who's Greg Franklin? I jumped up. I said, me, sir. He said, come on up. So I'm walking up the stairs. I walked into his office. Office was huge.
Wow.
Long mahogany desk.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'm terribly sorry. He said, the guy that you were supposed to interview with, Kyle, he did have a call out. I'm sorry. I called personnel. They were busy. And they said, well, look, you aren't doing anything. Why don't you do it?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I said, bring him up.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, do you mind me asking, who are you? He said, son, today is your lucky day. I'm the president and the CEO of American Hospital Supply, V. Mueller Division.
Shoot, that's awesome.
And I was like, what?
So you went right to the top.
Right to the top.
Lucky.
For an interview.
Luck.
We spent 2.5 hours together.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at his watch and he said, you know, it's lunchtime. You know, if it's okay with you, let's go downstairs and have a lunch.
So you had lunch with him too. That's good.
And I'll introduce you to some of the members of the team.
You get a little more time with someone when you have lunch with them.
Yeah, so I went down. I met the national sales manager. There were a couple of reps who came into the office, sat down. They sat down at the table and we started talking about, you know, life and sales and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got back upstairs with him, he said, so what do you think? You want a job here? I said, yes. He said, let me tell you something. The territory that I have for you is going to take persistence, and I see that you have it. Because if you had not walked in here and said, I'm going to take a seat on the couch until you find someone for me to speak with, I would have not brought you up here. I would not even offered you a job with
Right.
the background that you
You
have
a lot
in
of
politics
some backbone.
and finance. You're not a salesperson, but you sold me,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you can sell on the south side of Chicago, you can sell anywhere. That's where my career in sales started. Folks, don't give up. I share this story with you because there's somebody right now who will go to an interview, take the first thing somebody says, get up and walk away, or they told me I was no good. Listen, folks, you got to go for your dreams, okay? They can because they think they can, all right? If you in the back of your mind continues to say, I'll never get it, I'm a loser, I'll never get anywhere, guess what continues to show up?
Listening to the small talk.
Guess what continues to show up?
Small stuff.
Right. Go for the bigness. Go for the greatness. Don't let anyone take you from your dream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll repeat that and then I'll turn it over to you. Don't let anyone take you from your dream. Okay?
Beautiful.
All right. What's going on with you? What's happening with
Well,
you today?
let's see. I was thinking today, that was great. Thank you very much. So inspirational. Persistence wins.
Yes.
Persistence wins. Tenacity and
Yes.
tenacious acts,
Yes.
and not being thrown off your trail, off your focus. I was going to talk today about a couple of great things about, let's see, the courses that I took recently.
Okay.
All
Tell me
right,
about
well,
the courses.
The first one is called the Q process,
Mhm.
and it's really amazing. I got this from Unity Las Vegas.
Was that ever called the Quest?
The Q process it's actually
Because I took one similar to that. It was called
I
the
don't
Quest.
think it's called the Quest.
Okay.
But it was founded or written by some really great people, and one of them was supposed to be the Rosenthal, the guy for the United Nations, who started the United Nations as part of creating their premises and all their content. He helped create this course.
Yes.
So it's really great. It's about getting complete. It's really a completion course.
Tell me about getting complete.
It's called Aware Therapy Exercises and Worksheets for the 21-day practice. Ira led our course, this guy from our church. Very great. Hi, Ira. You're amazing. And it was very empowering to take the class. I took it right before my divorce, and I wanted to just be into the completion mode and be working on whatever I wanted to, get complete with and have structure to be able to make that happen. If you go through the workbook, there's a lot of just reading and filling out the questions, like, it's a workbook form.
Okay.
And when you go through, it's really great because you slowly go through all these different questions, authentic action that you can take, creating a new outlook.
Read one of the questions for us.
Okay, well.
So that our audience can know what
the
they would
first
be
part
getting
of
into.
Okay, great. The first thing we did when we went through this was, there's a lot of beginning, format to get you ready to complete.
Yes.
But then once we got into the meat of it, I made these charts up because I thought it was easier for me to follow and me to keep it organized in my brain, because the way anyway, it's easier this way. First thing we were asked to do, this is to finding out our internal triggers, things that trigger us. All right, that's really key, right? Don't we want to know our internal triggers?
Sure, absolutely.
So we know typically what's going to trigger us.
Yes.
Because there's always going to be something that triggers us.
Something that triggers us.
And it may change and we may evolve, but you know what? Probably not. Most people have the same triggers. They just learn to deal with them better. Like they are aware of that, that's my trigger, or that's the thing I always do. When things go wrong, that's what I do. That's my thing.
Okay.
And, of course, your intimate relationships, they'll point it out to you what your triggers are. They're really good. They'll tell you if you don't know. Because it's like we learn best from our enemies. It sounds strange, but that was one of the things I learned in my divorce, I decided to claim that I can learn best from my enemies. I think it's an old ancient saying, I don't know. Anyway.
So what question led to these?
Because, the first one was, recall a moment. And you write a moment. Something that happened. That, you were yelled at by somebody, and this happened, and this happened, and these happened, and these people did that. Okay, then the next column is uncover a belief. So you're supposed to write a belief that you had about what had happened. You were yelled at for this and that or something, and then I have poor listening skills, or I'm slow at learning, or I need a hearing aid. I mean, you put whatever comes to mind, uncovering the belief that you've had about that kind of an incident, that kind of a moment.
So make sure I'm understanding you correctly. You're at work, or you're at home. Your husband yelled at you for something.
Right. This is the moment. Recall the moment.
You recalling the moment.
And then uncover the beliefs you have about that moment that situation.
Okay, so
all right.
Whether I'm
they're always a jerk, or whatever the conversation that you have is going on is. Just put those. The third thing was we were supposed to get to the point was receive the gift.
Okay.
So in this, it's like if you go with the premise that our enemies are our best teachers, then you're going to have to look for the gift in there somewhere.
There is a gift in it.
Yeah, and so, okay, what I got as a gift for that incident was I went to get the mind map.
Okay.
And I actually have a tonal deficit in my brain, in the back of my brain. Have anybody gotten a mind map? They're very amazing. It cost me a little bit of change, but it was worth it. And they put all these electrodes on your head, and they watch you watch a screen, and the guy, watches your brain, and all the different parts of your brain. Anyway, I literally I did that, like around the time before my divorce, to find out if there was anything I could find out from the mind map. And it did say that I literally had a tonal deficit in my brain. One part of my brain, I can't hear certain tones. In other words, I may be needed hearing aid, or maybe I just have certain tones I don't hear, and a hearing aid may help with those. It's literally something in my brain. So anyway, the last category is receive the gift. Like the gift was I got into action and I did something to try to help my hearing, or I didn't know that was going to reveal that. The mind map revealed a lot of things.
Okay,
Actually, I was below average in 4 different categories, and it was
right?
really empowering to go and see. Yeah.
Okay, so when someone yells at you, you just kind of go tone deaf?
No. It's like sometimes, let's see. Yeah, for not hearing.
Okay.
That was the upset. I was yelled at for not hearing something.
Okay.
And I actually, believe it or not, I thought I've dissected it quite a bit. I do ask people to repeat things sometimes.
Yes.
And usually they start at the beginning. I go, no. I don't want to hear from the beginning. I want to hear the last word, because a lot of people go down in their voice a little bit on that last word.
Yes.
I go, I heard it all. I just want to know what the last word was.
Okay.
Because my tonal deficiency evidently is that. So, maybe it's going to, also I can educate the people in my life. Please don't go down in the last word of your sentence, because I have a tonal deficiency. Just try to keep it all the same tone, or so I can hear the end of your sentence.
Okay, makes sense.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me being communicative now that I know that about myself, right?
Okay, so we're digging deeper into ourselves.
And then the last column was, before we leave for a break, create a new outcome. And so, anyway, something like creating a little more empowering interpretation of what happened versus, these people, I always get yelled at, or, I don't know, I'm this, I'm that, I'm stupid, I'm whatever, I can't hear. Instead of that, creating a little more empowering interpretation as the outcome. I can get the treatments to help change my brain. Actually, there are treatments that will help you with your deficits. I can try a hearing aid.
Okay.
That's the outcome.
Okay.
So anyway, that's just one example and part of the Q process. We're going to take a little break. We'll talk more about it in a second. And thanks for coming on the Gregarious Joy and learning something new this morning.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage? Streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. These shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now. Streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
back. Gregarious Joy.
What's
Hi.
happening? What's happening?
Hey, everybody.
Happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope you're doing something fun today.
Oh my gosh, it's a fun day, right? People are out having fun today. They're not all working.
True.
They're at home, get the barbecue. They're marinating meat by now, right?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
They're doing the dry rub. You're getting it all lined up for tonight or for afternoon, right?
Sounds good.
Pool parties, I don't know. Las Vegas is a little overcast again today. We're still not quite into our summer. We're very showering type spring. It's the most water I think we've had, which will be good for Lake Mead, but in years. I can't even remember a spring that was this long, that went this long and was cold and rainy like this.
I'm not complaining.
No,
Trust me.
It's fine.
I know a lot of people say, oh, I came to Vegas because I expected 105 and I wanted to lay by the pool. Mm-hmm. And I understand that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, be in the 70s, that's pretty darn good. We've got some California weather right now.
It's like coastal. It seems like, actually, I was telling Greg the other day, oh, it looks like there's a beach over here somewhere because it's just so coastal-ish.
Yeah.
It's really kind of nice in that way.
Well, we were just closing out our last
right, about
episode.
The Q process.
Q process.
And
Bettina is really into, self-improvement, and I admire that about her. Very early on for me, I did as well. I went to Unity Village and I did do some studying. I like to read books that help me improve who I am. And one thing I have found out is that if you sincerely ask Spirit for guidance on a subject that you're really trying to get over, to learn from, and to not take personal, I ask Spirit. I'll write it down. I'll stick it in my favorite scripture. I'll stick it in the mailbox when I come home from work so that I don't have to worry about and then pull it out the next morning, knowing that I have prayed over it during the night. And what has worked for me is that I get 3 answers. And on the third one, that's when I get the confirmation.
Right, you go in threes.
Yeah, in threes.
He believes in the 3 theory.
You know, just like when you go to buy a car, you want a red Mustang. Isn't it funny that in the course of the day, your mind attracts Mustangs? All you see all day long are red Mustangs.
Mustangs, right.
And if you could do that with something that small, imagine what you can do by really putting your mind on what it is you want to do. Okay? Not saying that you're not going to have any trials, not to say that you're going to get knocked around. It may not happen right away, and sometimes it does happen right away. But you have to be willing to step out and take that chance. Okay? What happens in a lot of time, and me included, is when one door closes, we tend to focus on the door that closes. Yap, why? You didn't treat me fairly. You yelled at me. Instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to turn around and look at the next door that's getting ready to open.
Right.
Because Spirit is now leading me to a new opportunity. When you can do that, that's when you know that you are growing. Okay?
I agree.
That's just some thoughts from me on that.
Yeah.
So, in moving into our next phase, and
I could talk more about this, but I think that we're done with the Q process. When you get into it farther, it starts with the 4 categories in the beginning. And
tell us the 4 categories.
Well, the categories were recall a moment, then uncover the belief about that thing, that moment, receive the gift, be open to receiving the gift from that moment, and create a new outcome. And it gets
move from that closed door.
It goes deeper. It goes into, that was phase 1, and then this is phase 3. This is jumping to the end. You have a whole lot more categories. You get in even tighter, like recall a moment and release the story, repair and choose a new story, relive to see it like you didn't before, like negatively. You repair it, or relive it and put it like it's not a negative. You just create it to totally like, oh, it was really funny today. This person hit my car and then I needed a new car anyway. You know, like something like you just create it as a positive somehow.
Right.
And then create a new outcome, address it in the present day.
Yes.
And then the last one, authentic action, address it like unmet need. Like possibly example is I may need to apologize. You know, like that may be something that's appropriate.
Really?
An action you could take.
You apologize?
I do that a lot.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Some people are narrow-minded or don't hear.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And or do something for yourself, like go to the movies, or or you maybe need to request that they not cut you off, like when you're talking, or something like that, or you ask them to say if they are cut off when I'm talking, I may cut them off, and you might need to preface everything from the beginning and say, people, if I ever am cutting you off when you're talking, stop me, please. Okay. Because I have ADHD, and it's a bad old habit from my childhood, because I was never diagnosed when I was a kid, and that's the biggest way you can tell someone has ADHD is that they did something all the way back to when they were a child, and the most typical one that you could sign, that you can find out somebody has that, is they cut off people when they're speaking.
Yes.
So it's part of our brain hiccup.
Again, the name of it is the Q process.
Yeah, it's
I'm
really
sure
great.
that you could find it online. I know
possibly,
you speak very highly
Unity
of
of Las
the process.
Vegas may be doing the course again.
Okay.
You have to find somebody who's doing this course.
Yes.
And it was really good. It was very well worth it, and I thought very empowering, very powerful. And I didn't even fill out all the the chart as much as I could. I mean, I plan to do more and more work with this as I go along. I've got the charts ready to go, so that I can keep looking at things and evolving, hopefully.
That's fantastic. And please keep us posted on all your success. Okay?
Thanks.
So we can share that with others.
All right, great.
Another topic that is growing near and dear to my heart is marijuana. As you know, and maybe you don't know, marijuana is legal in Las Vegas.
So you're smoking marijuana?
There are shops in town that are open 24 hours a day. And what I find interesting about that is that, it tends to be more of a success story in the West than it is in the Midwest, the South, and the East. And why is that?
The
East
law
did pass the law
in New York. That's
right?
Progressive. They're the most progressive in the nation.
Where they cannot test you to see if you have marijuana
in your system, for a job interview.
Okay.
Get a job or a job.
So you'll find Washington State, you'll find Oregon, California, Colorado, Nevada, and the reason why it's a challenge for me, and bringing the politics in, which I try to stay away from, but picking up a kid for a bag of weed and putting him in the process of the judicial system, and putting him behind bars for 5 to 7 years for a bag of weed.
Now looking back, it looks like it was a horrible thing.
Yeah, it was a horrible thing.
Because that was obvious all the time. That happened all the time. Not
only do you have 5 years, but you have a felony.
Right.
And a felony, when you fill out a job application, you have to say, and if the question comes up, which I know there are states, I believe in Atlanta, they struck that from the list. You cannot ask a person if they've had a felony. Well, across the nation, I believe it's still asked on job applications. So if you have a felony, typically your application will go into the garbage can.
Yeah.
Okay? And they take away and they take away your right to vote. So who does this happen to most? African Americans.
Well, for whatever reason, that's statistically true.
So white collar crime with cocaine, you can get off much less than you can with marijuana. So you've got a prison system, which we have most in the world, okay, behind some petty drugs. You have African Americans and Hispanics, and that is a way, I believe, to control a race of people, is to, incarcerate them.
Yeah.
Now, the Senate has passed
I don't think that you can say that they're out and out trying to get only black people.
Well, look at the majority who's arrested for
it. Yeah, but maybe they're the people who smoke the most pot.
Well, okay, so why don't we just change the law and give them a break?
We should.
Well, under the Obama administration, on his final days, he did release a lot of petty, crime, nonviolent crime users. I don't know the exact total, but it was astronomical. And he said, look, I'll give you a second chance and we'll take this off your record. But you have to do one thing. You have to go to a course. You have to go to a drug-related course. Stay off the drugs. And if you stay off the drugs, we will take it off your record and give you a fair opportunity. And that to me sounds fair. I
Maybe
know.
it will evolve to something
Well,
simple.
I know the two
simple
female
like that.
candidates.
Cortez.
Elizabeth Warren has said that she would support it, and so has Kamala Harris, and so has
Cortez.
I'm talking in the Senate right now. The gentleman from New Jersey, Cory Booker, who also said that he would be behind this.
That's great.
So let's just take the criminalization off of it. And I have a personal story to share. I'm kind of embarrassed to share it.
The world has evolved.
But it's the way it is.
It is.
When I was married, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it happened in 2000, right about Christmas time. And we went in, and I've been in medical sales my career. But when the doctor said, you have stage 4 breast cancer, you have to start treatment tomorrow. And if you don't, you're going to die. I hit the deck, man. I hit the deck. And I was a regional manager at the time, responsible for 14 states. I had reps reporting to me. I had distributors reporting to me. I had a ailing wife, and I had 2 sons. So now I'm grocery shopping, cook, cleaning, bottle washer, and doing my job. I was up to midnight doing emails and sometimes 2 in the morning. And then my boss called me one day and he said, look, Greg, that's not the image we want from our company. We notice you're doing emails at 2. You need to cut this out.
Right.
Why don't you just walk away for 6 months? I said, I need the job. I need to put on a suit in the morning. This is the only thing that takes me away.
Right.
So I'm in an elevator one day, and as the doors closed, it seemed like my mind closed, and I passed out. I woke up, I was in the ER. Then they pushed me onto the cath lab. They were so sure I'd had a heart attack. Cath lab checked my heart and said, the heart's fine. So they sent me back to the ER, and the ER had me do a stress test.
I didn't know
and he
this
said,
happened. This is sad.
yeah, the stress test said, your heart is normal.
So
and
what was the pass out?
So the doctor said, you want to talk to me? What's going on? And I told him what I was going through.
It's a lot.
And he said, man,
more than any human is
you are under an enormous amount of stress.
It's like a huge amount of
So
stress.
he recommended a psychiatrist for me to sit down with. And she said, I'm going to put you on an antidepressant. Well, the antidepressant just took the life out of me. Okay? I didn't want to laugh. I couldn't laugh, couldn't joke. I just felt numb all the time.
He is the Joker of all
I am
time.
the Joker.
Actually,
right,
that's
okay?
his thing.
That is my thing.
He
I like to laugh
tease,
and tell jokes.
He likes
I do.
To cajole.
I love all of that.
He's witty. He thinks of
Yes.
funny stuff all the time. And at the right times, you've helped me. Oh, my goodness. My recovery from my eye thing recently, he was making a joke. And at the perfect moment, it was so sweet. Thank you. It was the nicest.
Laughter is the best.
The nicest thing at that moment.
Okay. So, I went back to her and I said, this isn't working. She tried another pill. That didn't work either. And then after we had exhausted choices, she said, listen, I can write you a prescription for medical marijuana. And I did that, and I had to smoke, trust me since my college days.
So it wasn't a normal thing for you. But
no, it was medical.
Your doctor said, try this.
So I take a couple whiffs, and instantly I'm starting to feel better. I can handle the stress a little bit better.
And you weren't all tired and zombie.
Yeah, it wasn't zombie-like.
Yeah.
So then my kid comes in from school.
That's probably a psychotic drug of some kind that they put you on.
Well, yeah, I guess. And he says, Dad, I smell marijuana in the garage. And that hit me like a ton of bricks.
How old was he?
He was like 13.
So you were preteen and you were nervous that he would take it to heart and get into drugs too.
That's the last thing you want your kid to do is be into drugs.
Exactly.
That's the last thing any parent would.
Yes.
So I threw it away.
But it was good for you. So it's kind of strange. It's sad that you just took a...
For medicinal use, I can't see why anybody would stop another person from using it. The NFL is their quote unquote, we are checking it out. What's there to check out? There's enough science out to prove that there are people who have cancer, who take gummies or whatever to help them relax, to help them sleep, to help them eat better because they get the munchies.
And cope with the stress.
Come on.
The stress.
Let's just get over the fact that this is a criminal thing. It is not. I challenge anybody on that. And let's just make it legal across the board. I read a story in the paper. Some kid came out here from Chicago, bought a bunch of weed. He didn't smoke it up, so he puts it in his suitcase. He goes back to Chicago. A sniffing dog catches it in the airport, and he got arrested. Let's stop the nonsense, people. Okay? For real.
Wow. So, okay, Greg, you've said it. You meant it. You're here to represent it. You said it. That's how we feel.
I'm not here to represent it. I don't get a penny for any of the sales.
It would be nice, though.
I just
They're making $1 million in our city.
They are making $1 million.
Pot.
Yeah,
and it's quite an industry, and they didn't even get it easily. They had to do it in a lottery. You didn't only have to be a multi-millionaire to be a grow house or a distributor. You had a lottery that you had to pick from. So it was very coveted who got those opportunities.
Yes,
and they're very fortunate actually in our country right now.
Yeah,
good job, I guess. Business. Anyway,
we're
going on that little break. Thank you for coming to Gregarious Joy. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll talk more about interesting subjects of the day.
Peace.
You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now. Streaming on social media.
Hey, we're back.
We just closed out with marijuana, and we're going to get more in depth on that in an upcoming show to talk about for-profit prisons. For-profit prisons is a big business in this country. We'll go into more depth on that because, again, once you get a kid locked into the system, and he can't get a job because he has, a felony. He can't vote, so now he's useless. So he gets locked into the prison system because once he gets out of jail, he goes back to what he knows best, and that is selling weed.
Right, being on the street or just
or if he gets a job at McDonald's, his boys come by and laugh at him.
Yeah,
so,
and then he's embarrassed.
He's embarrassed.
They shame him.
Right. So, we'll talk about that more.
There's a lot of stigma around a day job that's like a fast food, but you know what? That's a place you got to start. I know it's honorable. Anybody working, it's honorable. That's anything,
Well, speaking of honorable, I threw this out on Facebook. I didn't get a big response, and I didn't expect to get one. I was driving down the freeway, and speaking of work, one of the as you know, or you didn't know, Las Vegas has strip clubs. You didn't know that, did you?
Oh, God, don't start with this thing.
Okay, she doesn't like that topic at all. Okay, so there's a billboard that says, we congratulate the high school class of 2019, and it's got the name of the strip club. We are hiring.
So in other words, little 18-year-old girls are
you're
being
recruiting
asked
18-year-old girls.
Come on in. We need fresh meat.
18 years old. You can make $100,000 a year. You get benefits. but you know the duties of the job.
Well, then the porn stars, they're the ones who get the best dance opportunities, I guess. They're the
They're
show.
making money.
They're the
So
traveling special.
it should be
guests.
legal what a woman can do with her body. She's making income. She's paying taxes. She's
Right.
contributing to our society.
He's pro. I'm con.
I didn't say I was pro or con.
You're saying all the positives.
I just looked at this and said, I can't believe you're preying on 18-year-olds. But since the company
So if
people
you-
are struggling to find jobs, that's a job.
All right. So you're.
I
looking
don't
at
attend
it,
those clubs.
you're trying
I
not
don't
to
have the
be-
money to
You're
attend
trying
them.
to be non-objective.
No, I'm just throwing it out there for conversation. You know, as Kamala Harris always says, let's have a conversation about that.
Let's have a
Let's have a conversation about that. How do you feel about recruiting and putting up a billboard to recruit young girls to be strippers? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I like people to write in about that because my first reaction was like to hurl. That was my first reaction was I'd like to hurl because I'm from a small town in Northern California, and I think that statistically that a lot of people who are in certain professions that are like that and prostitution, they do tend to there's a high suicide rate when they're older, and that's statistical. And a lot of
You
them
should
come
bring
from
some
a broken
statistics
home.
on
Well,
that.
I'd like to. I will.
Okay.
If you want to talk more about it. I mean, I think that there's just something to be said for the. There may be reasons why they feel the need to do that sort of job, and they don't care about anything except for the now. Because sometimes you shouldn't think just about the now. You should think about your future.
Well, if you're in a family situation where you don't have money, you don't have food, the lights aren't on, I mean, you're trying to do something to elevate you, to move you to the next level. Again, I'm not saying yes or no to the topic. I'm just exploring the topic with you. Now, Las Vegas has a reputation of coming over here to have fun. So people come here to have fun. And that's one of the big businesses in town is strip clubs. I mean, guys do it.
Yeah.
Girls do it.
Uh-huh.
So
Well, I do know people.
it's legal.
I do know that's true. Okay.
Okay, so we'll move on from that topic.
I think it has to do with the kind of future you want to have because you're plotting out your future by doing things like that. You're not all Cardi B. They're not all going to be Cardi B, who was a stripper and who made good. They're not going to be all like that. And becoming recognized as a talent, a lot of people think that's acting and that's performing arts.
Well, it could be performing arts. They have the porn show every year in what is it, late January, early February here in Vegas, and it's a big show.
Yeah, where they sell products for personal home parties,
Yeah.
and any kind of.
It's a big business.
That's actually positive stuff, though. I like that. I like products for enhancing your pleasure. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think we better move on past that topic real quick.
The next thing I was going to speak about was
okay.
First, I want to tell you a little. It's about
the seven deadly sins.
Let me tell you. Yeah, the
I hate
seven
that word said. Go ahead.
I know, right? Well, I'm not Catholic, so I didn't really have that big thing thrown on me like it's a sin all the time from my family or friends.
Right.
But that anyway, how it came about was we were he was writing some note and it said something like somebody he met from my hometown Lodi had a winery and they were writing the seven zins. It was a Zinfandel. And it was about this winery, the name of the winery. He wanted to know if I knew the people from Lodi. And I said, no, I don't know. And then I forgot about that note. And it was sitting on the table. And I thought that he was trying to get me to look up the 7 deadly sins. And I thought, oh, okay. So I just Googled the 7 deadly sins because I don't know why. Just from that note, it made me go this direction. And so this is Spirit was leading me. Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. So
those are the 7 deadly sins.
Those are the regular 7 deadly sins.
So
but
there
then
are deadly ones out there.
when I Googled it, it had the modern social sins. And I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. Let's hear the modern ones.
Okay.
So let's go for that. Pride, we know. Greed, we know. Lust, we know. Envy, gluttony, wrath, anger, sloth, laziness. Okay, but the modern ones are as follows. the modern social sins. That's what they're called. Destroying the environment.
Yes.
Number one.
Yes.
That's a definite deadly
That's
sin.
a definite
That's
deadly
a
sin.
definitely.
Okay.
And genetic manipulation.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, this is what they're saying. Okay.
I can make my baby smarter if I want to by.
Oh yeah, by getting the right genes.
By getting the right genes.
Combining and genetic manipulation. Okay.
So if I got some Calvin Kleins, or if I got some, some what's that other one? Some of the top genes, I could actually get smarter. Is that Okay,
no,
go ahead.
I have no clue what he's talking about.
Genetic manipulation with genes.
Obscene wealth.
Oh man, this country is bad for obscene
That's a good.
wealth.
I remember when I got married.
The top 2% grew to the top 3%. You're charging astronomical for rent because you bought up all the properties when when the market closed, and there are people sleeping on the streets. How can you pass these people on the streets and you charging big money and you got enough for 10 times over for everybody in the world?
And there could be tiny houses. There could be little tiny houses like I think Washington's doing. I don't know. But we have some in downtown, an area where I don't know if the people own them and they're parked in a place where tiny houses are allowed, or this is a program. I don't really know why, but there are a lot of them down there. A few, not a lot. But the tiny house, that helps the homeless. It's one tiny little room that they can own and live in, and maybe it's the size of a bed and a desk, but still, it's somewhere to go.
Okay, number 4,
creating poverty.
Okay, so we create poverty in this world, huh?
We do.
So we just kind of eliminate the middle class, and squeeze them out.
Yeah, that's Trump. I hate to say it. He's really ruined our middle class for quite a while.
I don't think it's been only Trump. I think the previous all these administrations. I think Obama did a great job of trying to include everyone and be inclusive, but it was also under Clinton's administration as well.
Well, and when they take neighborhoods where people live and they just knock down the building and put a parking lot instead of making some new housing for those people or something.
Well, we're
giving affordable housing.
We're giving our good jobs away to foreign countries. Okay.
Yeah.
Our products that were made here are now being made in China.
Yeah.
So
it's part of obscene wealth.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So the CEOs are getting fatter.
Creating
poverty. They're putting more money in their pocket, but the little guys who are actually building the products or making it here, they get just enough to get by.
Yeah, that's creating poverty.
Okay.
Definitely, by not thinking of the future, not planning ahead. Okay, the next one, drug trafficking.
Oh my God.
Now,
do we bring drugs into this country?
Pot has changed, but then what about the other drugs? All the hardcore drugs that do mess up people's lives, heroin, opium, right?
Yes.
All the serious cocaine.
Yes.
Right. Okay, next one.
We have the highest prices for pharmaceuticals in the country. Okay.
We have 2 minutes. Oh, the last 2 are immoral scientific experiments. So I don't know what those are exactly, but whatever, immoral, like making lampshades out of people's bodies from the Holocaust. The Jews, they made lampshades, and that's an immoral scientific experiment. Okay.
Well, I know one that came up.
And they tested a lot of weird drugs on those people in the concentration camps.
To put syphilis in African American soldiers for an experiment.
Oh,
okay.
Gross.
There's a bunch of those out
there.
there.
They did a lot of those over the years. Okay. The last one is violation of the fundamental rights of human nature.
Okay. Give me an example of the fundamental rights.
I don't know what that would mean. Violation of fundamental rights of human nature. I think that the Yosemite, preserving beautiful places, that's human nature, not nature. Human nature would be fundamental rights to reproduce and to marry and to have shelter and a job.
Right.
A fundamental right.
Okay. It's a fundamental right. Sure.
It's the pursuit of happiness. The
right.
basic
you should be able to decide what you want to do with your body. Mm-hmm. You should decide when you want to have a family. You know?
Right. And that's why pro-choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pro-choice. So you can plan. You can plan when you want to have a child.
To be who you are and not be afraid because you're a different nationality
or your sexual preference.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we do a lot of judging on that, don't we?
Yeah, violation of fundamental rights, human nature.
Okay.
Yep, because who's to say what's right for me is right for you?
Right.
Who is to say?
Why come we just can't be accepting of everyone?
No.
And just let it be.
Love our neighbor.
No one put us on earth and said, you're God, you're the one that's going to be the judge and the jury and the executioner. You're not. Right. We just learn to get along and let everyone be who they're called to be. Maybe, just maybe, this would be a better world.
Yeah. So those are the modern social sins. I just thought I'd bring this up because they sound interesting to talk about.
Okay.
And we will talk more about those later because they're hot subjects.
They are hot subjects.
Go one by one even.
Okay. So it looks like, we've wrapped up another show here. I want to thank you for spending time with us.
One more episode.
One more episode?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Okay, fine.
We got
That's
one more episode.
And what were we going to talk about? Good eats.
Okay.
And slang words.
Is that somebody trying to call us to tell us the commercial break?
Okay, ready? We're going to go on a break, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to talk about the cheap eats and good eats in our city. We have some reviews to speak about food.
Okay.
These shows.
I don't look like I've lost it.
You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now. Streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together.
Gregarious Joy.
What's happening, people?
Greg Franklin from Greg Franklin Speaks and Bettina Steinhauer from Be Bettina Fashion. Speaking of fashion, I have a couple products I want to share about at the end of the show. But first, we're going to talk about our last topic of the day, which is, what do you want to say where people can find us, or we'll say it at the end? The cheap eats, the food.
Yeah, we can talk about some food.
Okay, let's talk about food. Where did we go out for dinner last night?
Yesterday we went to
Giuseppe's.
Yeah.
The best Italian deal in town, and fantastic food.
She calls me up and she says, "Hey, look, you want to go out to eat?" And I'm going, "Do I look like I've missed any meals?" Man, I'm looking at the TV now and I'm just going, "I need to lose some weight," and I will.
It puts 10 pounds on us, but then again,
yes,
we could be thinner.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, Giuseppe's. We went there. They have actually entrees for around $10. So, I mean, the sandwiches, right?
Right.
They were really a good deal. They had a fantastic menu.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there for years. Greg just moved here a few months ago, so he didn't know about that one. But Giuseppe's, they have a very good deal on Sunday evenings for pizza. And you get the fully loaded pizza, the giant 18-inch, for $12. It was really great. So we got that for the week to eat. But she's
going to be eating it.
I mean, I don't eat pizza that much, but my dog and I, I give it to Raleigh. It's
Man,
for Raleigh.
Her dog eats better than most humans I know.
Raleigh's my baby. What can I say? He's the
and
best.
And then, I have been wanting to try the ribs at Ellis
Oh,
Island.
yeah.
It's been
We
posted
heard
that
it
they
was
have,
good, and
the best ribs in town.
it
So
was amazing. We went there.
I
We
said,
tried it out.
let's go do a review of that place.
It was so fresh. The chicken was so fresh. It was like, you know how those people who are really into chicken, they go, this chicken was killed two days ago.
Well,
They really
as you walk
it was
in,
so fresh. It was
they have
beautiful.
a grill right up front, and you can see the guys grilling the meat. You can see them grilling the
Yeah.
chicken and the whole nine. So it is very fresh. The place was packed,
And I
and it
love
was very, very inexpensive. I think it was for a half a rack of ribs and a half a chicken. It was like $13.95.
that's a really good deal.
That's a good deal.
And they had the corn and the beans and the coleslaw, everything with it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything. It was
They
really
were
good.
not slacking at all on the portions.
And
So
and
I
I
would
think it's
highly
all
recommend
about
it.
the sauce.
The sauce was
You
good.
know, like the sauce for the ribs. He's analyzes the sauce like all the time.
Yeah, because I grew up doing barbecue.
He's a rib guy.
Yeah.
So the sauce I thought was not too sharp. It was just beautiful. It was like a Louisiana style. I don't know. I don't know the category or the name of what style, because there's several different types of sauce.
Right.
But the chicken was a different. It was similar but different.
From the rib sauce.
Yeah, the barbecue chicken was great. They complemented each other beautifully. They both were the same intensity, kind of a medium, medium, not mild. It was really good, nice medium. Both had a medium taste. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
They were just delicious. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was
Yeah,
really
Ellis
good.
Island has been voted as the best top eats or cheap eats in Las Vegas. So every day there's a special.
I'd eat there again. And what's the
Um,
sign for that?
The sign.
I folded my napkin.
Okay. So
When I fold my napkin after we're done, that means I want to come back.
yeah, there's
My old family's
on
a way to do it.
on Monday nights there's 2 tacos and a drink and a beer for $5 or something like that.
And there's ceviche.
Ceviche,
Oh my
tostadas.
gosh.
I
If
haven't-
you don't
those
try the
were
ceviche,
really, really good.
so good. It's
Yeah.
the
So every
best.
every night there's a special. Every day there's a special in there, and then they make the best New York pizza that you ever want, and it's like $3.50 a slice or something to that effect.
They have
Very New York,
and they have
very
karaoke.
very authentic.
They have
On
karaoke.
Thursdays you get 2 slices of pizza for the price of one. So
What day do they have karaoke?
karaoke's pretty much every night over there.
Oh, okay.
They have a great karaoke lounge, and it's really nice.
Yeah. If anybody
it's
wants to
very
meet us
reasonable.
for karaoke, we'll meet you there. Just write in.
Anybody
okay?
want to meet her for karaoke? Okay, I
I'll
don't
show-
sing.
I'll show
okay?
up.
We're gonna have mix.
He sings.
Business mix.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have a business mixer over there.
Mixers, yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have business mixers there. Sounds great.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll
you
talk
can come
about.
meet us
Yeah,
if you're in town.
definitely be fun to meet everybody and talk about possible, getting together for who knows what reasons. I mean, we have a lot of different points of view and interests in different things, and we'd love to meet you.
Yeah, yeah. I did check on the internet, and they rated the top 5 best or cheap eats, as they call it. I don't like cheap.
I know,
Less expensive. I like that word.
because it wasn't like
uh,
McDonald's cheap, but it was
buffets
really
in
good
town.
price.
And South Point was rated number 1. South Point is on the south point of the strip as you're going towards Los Angeles.
And Red Rock's breakfast buffet, oh my goodness, what an amazing price.
Yeah,
Very low.
They also rated the Palms very high. The Palms has been recently remodeled, and their stuff was just off the charts. I can't wait to try it.
Yeah.
Instead of just regular chicken and waffles, they have a mix. A little bit of a kick to it, which I can't wait to try.
Yeah, what place is that? Do you know the name of that one at the Palm?
Yeah, it's in the Palm. Just ask for the
Yeah,
buffet
Right.
bar.
Oh, it's the buffet. Okay.
Yeah, and then the one across the
Yeah.
street. Trying to think of the name of that
Gold Coast,
casino.
Gold
Gold Coast
Mm.
was also rated in the top 5.
Mm.
So they're not on the strip. Palms and Gold Coast. They're just a couple blocks off on Flamingo, but you'll find some really, really good eats there as well.
Sounds good.
So write in and tell us about your favorite place.
Right. And also, we went to another place that was
this was off the
amazing.
hook, man. This was
Fuku
off-
Burger.
Fuku. Never had a Japanese burger before.
It was so yum.
I don't think Japanese can't do anything
They
wrong.
put-
I mean, their food,
Oh.
the burger was off the hook.
And we've talked to the gentleman who owns his people, and maybe he'll be on as a guest sometime because we would like to hear more about how he started. He had a truck, and then he grew and has a restaurant now, and it's just great. They open till 1. Fuku Burger, amazing, fantastic. It's Asian style hamburger.
Yeah,
I think. And
I took one bite. What was that? The soy or what was that? That was
well,
coming
it
out.
had teriyaki
Teriyaki sauce.
and then it's like shredded ginger, you
Yeah.
know, is in there in the burger,
Oh.
and mushrooms, lots of mushrooms, fabulous.
Yeah, I
Oh,
took one bite and
God.
the juice was running down. I'm going, oh my God, what is this?
It was
Wow.
like Hasselhoff eating his junk food on the
It-
floor. You know,
Yeah, it was very good.
He really
it was
loved
very
it.
good. It was very good. All right, so you had a couple products that you wanted to show. Bettina
I
is
wanted to
is a
share-
designer. She likes to design bathing suits, and she's made some pretty cute tops and stuff like that. I think the one
I
she
am a
has
top
on
designer.
now,
I think this is one of mine. But,
one of her
and this
creations.
is a corset top that I do.
Yeah.
This corset top that you wear over your clothes, and it
Yes.
makes you look really pulled together. But at any rate, I also do products.
It's green, it's not showing.
Oh, okay. I also make products for yoga mat carriers.
Mm.
These you put around your yoga mat, and it has a pocket. It
Mhm.
has a pocket that's big enough for your cell phone and your keys.
Gotta
there,
have that
your
cell
lip
phone, boy.
gloss, whatever.
She's got to have that
You're
cell
ready
phone.
to go, and it's soft and it's nice and big Velcro at the bottom. This is the latest and greatest. So if
Okay.
you want a yoga mat carrier, they're $37. And this one, she said, it's not going to show up because it's green. But anyway, I have lots of different colors, and
Maybe if you show the inside, which is blue.
It's gonna be in our website and our page.
okay, on the page.
Yes.
That's how it opens, and that's how it shuts. Anyway, we'd love to have you buy one. It'd be great to have you have my yoga mat carriers. Buy Bettina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some places that they can actually see the show
Right.
or tell their friends about the show.
And if you want to put a star by Facebook, we're on Facebook. Look for the little star and hit the star. That would be great.
Yes.
Twitch,
Yes.
which I haven't never heard of, but apparently that's Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Okay.
So these are all
YouTube.
places where you can find us.
Yes.
And
YouTube.
And YouTube.
Don't forget
yes.
YouTube. You go to YouTube and put in Gregarious Joy, and you should see we're up to our 4th show now. So
we had 3,000 people watch our
check
show
us
last
out. Give us
week.
some comments.
Maybe
Let us know
more
what you think.
This week,
If
who
there's
knows?
some controversial topics that you'd like to discuss, please let us know so that we can, not only talk about it, but send a shout out to you as well. Okay?
And
all right.
how much time do we have?
And shout out to Alex Fletcher. He said, "Are you guys giving out cars?"
Are we giving out cars? I'll tell you what, Alex, once we start accepting donations and we have enough money, we will be giving out
Sounds
cars.
good.
Yeah.
That
I
sounds like fun.
I didn't say what year, but there's some good used cars out there. I'm looking at some myself right
yeah,
now.
he's
So
looking at a good used car.
yeah.
If you know a
that's
good
a
one
goal
for
to work up
Greg,
to.
He's almost there. He's
That's a
buying
good
one.
one. That's a good one.
Also, we want
Maybe we
to.
can talk to a sponsor. Maybe a sponsor wouldn't mind giving out a car.
That sounds good.
Once we get out into the community and find someone that's doing God's work in the world, maybe we can help them with a car or a truck to help feed the homeless or move people from A to B. That's
Yeah.
what we're all about here.
Yeah,
We're not
that's right.
elected officials. We don't get paid for this show.
Yeah,
The money for the show comes out of our own pockets.
and we will
And we
have.
do it because we want to inspire you. We want to get a message
Right.
out to you. We want to see you live your best life right now. Right now.
Right.
Not when you die and go to heaven. We want you to live your best life right now.
Right. And
So-
we also will most likely be able to get Karabot House, Meredith Spriggs, to come on because she's a friend of mine. She started the best charity, the biggest charity for homeless in our city, and she is funded by the state. She works and has a few employees. And Karabot House is down by downtown area. And so hopefully we can get her. I got to get her on the phone and see
Yes.
when she can come in and talk about the homeless situation and ask, find out what we can do to help people.
Yes. The homeless situation is a very sad situation.
It's big in our city. A lot of
and-
homeless vets.
And I hate it for the homeless vets because you sit and you watch the commercials and they make it seem so glamorous to go to the military. But then when they come home, just go to a VA hospital in your area. Go to the limbs ward where you see men who've had their legs shot off or their arms shot off, and listen to their stories. In many cases, their family left them, their wife left them, and they're just in there by themselves. And we're not trying to tell people not to join the military. It's another job that is respected. But I think we need to do a better job in taking care of our military people when they come home. That's my opinion.
Amen.
Right, amen. And is this appropriate now or no?
I don't want to get into American slang just yet.
We're wrapping it up.
We are
Okay.
wrapping it
In
up.
the future,
so-
we're going to be talking about American slang.
Okay.
Because
She likes that because she doesn't understand half the stuff I say sometimes.
Yeah, I have
so
to
she
go.
has to always reach for her slang book.
I have to
So,
read up about
I don't like
him.
doing it, but
his
she says
his
I'm gonna learn
isms.
about your culture.
But it's like Gregisms.
Okay.
Some of it's not even cultural; it's Gregisms.
Okay, well,
And I've got Bettina isms for real. So
she does.
we'll have to talk. At any rate, are we going to do our prayer at the end here?
Yeah, our prayer for you. Okay.
Well, what we decided we're going to be doing every week is I'll pray for you. You pray for me. We are all part of this family.
Okay, so Kirk Franklin does it a little better than I do. No relation. Yeah, he's my play cousin. Also, West Angeles, they do a great job.
Play
with it.
cousin.
Yeah, at the end of the show, she'll probably be looking that up. What does a play cousin mean?
I know what a play
Okay.
cousin. I can figure that one out.
So we'll try and sing it. I pray for you. You pray for me. We all are part of this family. I like to say we're all a part of God's family.
God's family.
Okay, so you pray for me. I will pray for you. Whatever it is you need, know that your prayer will be met. Okay?
It's getting
all
through.
of your needs will be met. And if you could just say that in the course of the day,
Yeah.
maybe I don't have the big house I used to have. Maybe I'm not driving the kind of car that I used to have. Maybe I don't make the kind of money that I used to have. Maybe I can't go out and eat at the restaurants that I used to. But you know what? Every day, my needs are met. Be grateful in the moment. And today, say my needs. And every day, my needs are met. Peace and blessings until we meet again.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining Gregarious Joy.